everyone. Today I'll be discussing about multi-dimensional array. Okay. Let's come to the next page. Now, till this point, you know that earlier we have learned about 1D array. Okay. 1D array. So what does this D means? This means one dimensional array. Okay. It is on one dimensional array. Now, basically, when we talk about one-dimensional array, it is a consecutive way of storing the elements. So if I just write in this manner, so you already know that, like if I want to store some elements, 2, 5, 8, 9, 10, 12, and 15. So this is the way how actually we used to store in a one-dimensional array. And this is something known as indexing. This is the indexing. It is pointing to the first element, and this first index, it is pointing to second element. So this is something like that. Guys, remember one thing, when I'm talking about indexing is a different thing. But when I'm talking about position, okay, position is a general term. When I'm saying that what is the first position element? First, this is the first position, second position, third position. But if I'm talking about index, so zeroth index is actually containing this element. Okay, but in general term, in general language, whenever you use position generally means there is no zeroth position. There is position is like always start from one. Okay, so now let's see how we used to create the 1D array. So if I write here and if I'm saying that multi-dimensional arrays. Okay. Now if I create it. Now if I want to create a multi-dimensional array, so I'll be using the simple arrays one, okay, not array list. Like at the end we'll see like how we can do it array list, but right now I'm just talking about the arrays. So int, you can see that here I'm creating an array that will be new int, and this is a bracket, and now here I can put the elements 2, 5, 8, 9, 10, 12, and 15. So this is the elements I have put here. Now if I want to print this array, then in that case you already know that if I want to print any particular element, I will write array of 2. Suppose if I want to print this 8. Okay. Now similarly I can also create a string array. String array is also possible. Str equals to new string Ram. Okay. Now here I can write Sham. Mohan. Sohan. So now you can see that this is how we used to create the string. Now let's come to the next thing, that is two-dimensional array. Okay. Now, basically when we talk about two-dimensional array, so now here I'm saying it is two-dimensional. Okay. So if you see the previous one, when I'm talking about one-dimensional array, it has only length. It has only, you can say that it is only in one plane. Okay, it is only in one plane. But when I'm talking about two-dimensional array, then it will be something like this. So now you can see that it will be in 2D plane. So you can see that like, so there will be two things here. यहाँ पे you can see that like this is something like a length. This is something like a length, okay, and this is something like a breadth. So you can see that there are two dimensions. But here, if I can say that like instead of writing in this way, I can say that there are something like you can see that like there are two planes, this one and this one. It is in two dimension. Now, what we can do is when I'm talking about two dimension, what it basically means is like there will be multiple arrays. So now if I create this thing, this thing. Now, inside this, there will be multiple one. So if I'm saying that 2, 1, 2, and 3. Now this is the array. Now the second one is 4, 5, and 6. Another one, 7, 8, or 9. So this is like what it means is array of arrays. Okay, inside array, it is actually containing three more arrays like this one. Now you can see that it is actually creating a building. It is so this will be a ground floor, first floor, and second floor. So this is how you can see that like how this thing actually looks like. Now, if I want to create a 2D array, then let's see how it actually looks like. Problem one dot Java. So I'll copy this code and I'll paste it here. And if I want to create a two-dimensional array, then in that case, I'll just first remove this. Okay. Now after removing this, what I need to, I also remove this part. Now I need to write int. Now you need to, since you already know that like this will be array of arrays, because why I'm saying array of arrays, because there is a outside a big array, inside there it is actually containing like multiple arrays. Now here I need to write in this one. So this is something like 2D array. Similarly, you can also create a 3D array. But right now I'm just talking about the 2D array. So new int, and now here I'm writing in this way. Now after that I need to create multiple things. 1, 2, 3, comma, coming to the next line, 4, comma, 5, comma, 6. Okay. Now coming to the next point, that is 7, comma, 8, comma, 9. So now you can see this, like what happened, like this is my arrays, and in this array, there are like multiple rows, like multiple arrays. This, this is actually kind of a 2D array, and you can see that this is a bigger array, outside array, and it is actually containing multiple arrays inside it. Okay. Now let's come to the next concept that is known as indexing. How we are doing indexing here. So generally, when we talk about arrays, so now you can see that like this is actually like if you see the bigger array, okay, so this is the bigger one. I can also write this thing in this manner. You can also write in this manner. Key, imagine that like suppose I'm saying 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and now here I'm writing 4, 5, 6, then comma, 7, 8, 9. Now you can see that like what is happening here is like this is a bigger array. Now this is the zeroth index. Zeroth index is actually containing the whole element, like the complete array. Okay. Now the first index of this array is actually containing this one. And this is actually, this is present in the second index because yeah, now you can see the comma here. Okay, you can see the comma here. Now inside that also we will do the indexing. So inside this array also we will do the index 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2. Now let's see how it actually look like. How it actually look like. Now if I'm creating like in this way, you already know that. So 4, 5, and 6, and 7, 8, and 9. Now, if I do indexing in this one, so you can see that like this is actually pointing to the zeroth element, this is pointing to the first element, this is pointing to the second one. Okay, so as I meant done here. Now, similarly, I can write 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 0, 1. So that means I can also say this thing like if I want to access particular element, if I want to access any particular element, then how will I do it? If I want to access any particular element, that means what is the position of this one? If I want to access this one, then I need to first come from outside and then I need to go inside. So this is something like 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 2, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 0, 2, 1, 2, 2. So this is how we used to do indexing in 2D arrays. Indexing in 2D arrays. So let's see how how we used to print things. Now suppose if I want to print, like imagine that if I want to print system.out.println, and if I only write array of 0 here, so in this case, what will get printed? So you can see that array of 0 is actually pointing to the whole array, 1, 2, 3. So if I execute it, system.out.println, and what I'm doing, sorry, Java problem1 dot Java. If I execute this code, so now you can see that right now what is happening, it is actually printing the reference of this. Okay, right now actually it is printing the reference of this. So what is the reference? So basically it is reference basically address of which. So basically it is printing the address of this array where it is like wherever it is actually getting printed. Okay. Now, if I want to print any particular element which is present at any particular position, then in that case, if I want to print this element, then I need to write 0 here. Okay. I need to write 0 here. And now, if I run this code, let's see what will happen. Now you can see that 1 is getting printed. Similarly, I can do this thing. I can write 1. So here I can write here 0, 1, 2. So here I'll write 1, 1, and 1. And here I'll write 0, 1, 2. And here write 2, 2, and 2. And here I'll write 0, 1, and 2. So now if I execute this, now let's see what will be our output. So you can see that like 0, 0, 1, 2, 1 row, and the like we are actually printing the inner elements. So in this way, you can see that I have printed all the elements. Okay. Now, like this is something known as indexing. Now, I want to talk about like one more thing is that when I'm talking about this thing, so there is we used to call it as. Now you can see that like there is like when I'm talking about this indexing. So in this indexing, we used to call these things like these things as rows. These are our rows. And these things are our actually when I'm talking about 147. So this is our column. Now you can see that like if I want to access any element, if I want to access any element, I need to give the row value here and the column value here. Okay, because this is column, you can see that like this is column 0, this is column 1, and this is column 2. Similarly, this is row 0, row 1, and row 2. If I want to access any element like 6, then see that what is the row of it. The row is 1 and does come from it. So you can see that 1 is coming from here, 2 is coming from here. So the general syntax is row and column. Now, if I ask you this thing, how many rows are there? What is the number of rows? Number of rows I'm asking about. The number of rows are actually 3. If I ask you what is the number of columns? in this array. So the number of columns are 3 also. If I take another array, let's see. Now, if I'm taking this one, 4, 5, 9, 7, 8, 6, 12, 1, 7, 15, 2, 3. Now you can see that if I ask you how many rows are there, so if you say that total number of rows, so 1, 2, 3, 4, even the indexing, the row, it is actually row 0. Okay. But here I'm asking how many rows are there. Okay. I'm asking the count of rows. So there are total 4 rows. If I'm talking about how many columns are there, so you can see that like there are 3 columns. Okay. And if you want to access any element, so this is 0, 1, 2. If you want to access this element, so just take the row 2, comma 1. So this is actually representing this element. So this is how something known as rows and columns. Now, I just want to talk about one more thing, like how we can find like total number of rows and total number of columns. How we can find total number of rows and total number of columns in a 2D array. So now if I want to find a basically like this thing, like total number of rows and number of columns, then in that case, just observe one thing. Just observe one thing. Like I'll copy this code. If I paste it here, this is my two-dimensional array. Now, first of all, if I want to update any value, suppose if I want to update any value, so in that case, I can directly write like whatever the position. So this position is 1 1. This position is 1 1. And if I want to change this value to 50, then automatically it will get updated using this. Okay. The same thing how we used to do in arrays. Okay. The only difference here is it's just that I'm like writing in this, like I'm doing the indexing in a 2D way. Okay. Now let's come to the next thing. Now, if I want to find the total number of rows, if I want to find the total number of how I can find it. Now, guys, you already know that like this is an array. Okay, this is an array which is containing 3 arrays. It is an array which is containing 3 arrays. Now, you know that like suppose if I'm taking another array, and I'm taking another array, and this is a 1D array, new int. Okay, now if I'm creating this thing, and 2, 4, 5. So if I'm putting this element. Now, if I want to print the if I want to print the length, then what I'll do, I will write x dot length. Okay. Now x dot length. So if I execute this code, you already know that what will happen. If I execute this code, you already know that what will happen. I think it should be x dot out. Now, if I'm executing here, now you can see that I'm getting the length as 3. Why? Because there are 3 elements. But if suppose in this 2D array, now you can see that like there are how many elements are present. So if I am just if I write it here, so you can see that like it is containing 3 arrays. It is containing the outside array is actually containing the bigger one is actually containing 3 arrays. So if I write in this way, now you will be able to see. Okay. Now you will be able to see it is actually, it is very similar like this one, but it is actually containing 3 array instead of 3 elements. Okay. So now if I try to find the array, basically the length. So if I'm writing int rows, and if I write here this array, okay, this array, Like if I write just this array dot length, then in that case, what output I will get? I will get the same output because this array is actually containing three. You can see that like there are it is containing total three arrays. Okay, so here just analyze this thing. If I want to find the how many total number of rows are there, okay, then I just need to count how many arrays are there. Okay, because you can see that whatever number of arrays will be there, so that many rows are there, because row 0 is pointing to the first array and row 1 is actually pointing to second array, row to third, row third is pointing to fourth. So I just need to count how many arrays are there. So if I just write array dot length, I will be able to find the this thing like the rows. Now I'll just remove this. Now how I can find the column? How I can find the column? I have finded out the rows. How many rows are there? Now let's come to the column. So if I come to the column, now just observe one thing. This is column 0, this is column 1, this is column 2. Column is actually defined by how many elements are present in any particular array. So we will not call this a 2D array when suppose if something like this is there. Now you can see that this is not even, because it should be this array should have like three elements only. That means every array should contain same number of elements. Okay, so instead of doing what I can do is I can pick any of the array. What I can do is I can pick any of the array and I just try to find the length of it. You can see that like here, if I'm talking about column is what I can do is I can pick this array and just find the length of it, and I'm getting it 3. I'm getting it 3. So basically, this is something like I can do here. So I just need to, what I need to do is I need to go to any of the array. So when I'm writing array of 0 here, so what will happen? Automatically, this array will come out. Automatically, this array will come out. And if this array is actually coming out, then in that case, what I need to do is I just need to find the length. And if I'm finding the length, then I will able to find the basically the rows and columns. So this is my rows and this is my column. So this is my row and this is my column. So if I execute this, now you will find that there are 3 rows and 3 columns. Okay. So, and instead of this 0, 1 and 2, you can write any of this thing, because either you write array of 0, array of 1 or array of 2. Any one of it you can write, and that will give you the basically rows and column. Okay, so now guys, the task for you is, now I have given you that like how you can find the basically the rows and columns. Now what's your task is? Your task is, you can use internet or anything. Your task is like suppose if I'm saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and now you already know that the indexing of this 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 0, 2, 1, 2, 2. Now your task is you need to loop in this 2D area. You need to run a 2D loop. It is, I'm just giving you a hint that since this is a two-dimensional array, you need to use a net loop, and you will be needing rows and columns. Okay. You can use the story of father, okay, because father is standing here and son is actually moving. Son is actually moving. Then father is actually changing his position, then son will move from. Now just you need to observe from where to where the father is going, from where to where the son is going, and based on that, you will be able to write a loop. Yeah, so that's all. That's all for like for this session. Okay, thank you everyone.